Hey guys, my name is Ben Howard. Today we're out here at North Greenville University to do the second to last video in my zero turn, zero fade mid-ranges series. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go back to my, I believe it's Mako 3 versus MD1 video where I explain everything, but basically I've got two mid-ranges with zero turn and zero fade for their flight numbers, and we battling them against each other. At the end of the series, I'm going to take all the discs that won their battle and have a battle between all of them. The only real rule that I have added to this is just that I have to use these mid-ranges until we get into circle 2. Then I can use my regular putting putters. But the discs we're going to be looking at today are the Infinite Discs Anubis. Sorry, that stamp's a little reflective. There you go, you can see better there. But this one reminds me a lot of a Mako 3 or MD1. It feels like a mix between the two, but very, like a little bit flatter than a Mako 3, but got a little bit more dome than that MD1, so perfect mix between the two. Feels very, very comfortable, and from what I've thrown of it, it's like right there in that same stability as them too. So this would be a good kind of control compared to this one, which is the Cheengz discs I1. I believe that's how you say it. That's how it's written right there. But this one is very, very unique, as you might be able to tell. It's very low profile. You see it's even got a little bit of a bead, and it's pretty flat. Got a little dome to it, but you can also see it's got like a groove track that goes around the edge. And it's not crazy grippy, but it's like it's right where you would want it to be. This one's in their base plastic because I couldn't find one in their premium plastic, but this plastic's very nice. It's kind of rubbery. It's not like a lot of other companies' baseline. It's very grippy. I really like this one a lot. It's, from what I've thrown at this one, it's a little bit flibbier, kind of something where you could put on a tiny bit of highs and get it to pop up to flat, or just throw super smooth and have it just go dead straight for a while. But I'll be curious to see how these compare, because the nice thing about coming out here in North Greenville is, especially on some of the longer holes, you can throw hard, full power shot and then throw an approach shot with these. So we'll kind of get to see the best of both worlds, where we get to see them at full power and then like in that 50 to 40% range, where you're going to see if they actually have low speed stability, or kind of see how they would fly at lower speeds. But let's go ahead and get in the video. All right, guys, so we're on hole 1. This is a par 3, about 230 feet, just dead straight ahead. Biggest thing you got to pay attention to is all the concrete off to the left is out of bounds, and as you can kind of tell, the trees that line the fairway make it to where you have a really low ceiling. So it's actually nice that I'm throwing these, because you need to throw something a little bit faster than you normally throw on this shot. I'm going to go with the Anubis first. This one I'm just going to try and throw it flat. Pretty hard, not crazy hard. Just try and get it to push straight as far as I can. Oh, good kick. Really good kick. Okay. I got the height on that, but that thing, I should have known that thing's a little bit lower profile, so it's not going to have as much glide. So it's not going to want to stay in the air as much as the Anubis will. But that felt like a better shot, at least. Just not as good a result. Skip. Yeah, perfect. I pulled it. Jeez, I pulled that so bad. Ugh. That was gross. There we go. All right, guys, so we're on hole 2. This is a par 3, about 300 feet, just dead straight ahead. Biggest thing to pay attention to is the basket's on top of this hill, which looks the same on the other side of the hill as it does on this side. Just not crazy elevation, just something you'd have to keep in mind. I'm just going to take both of these and just throw them straight at the basket. I don't think I can really get either one of them there, but let's see, just see how close we can get them. I didn't hit that one very well. Wow, okay, geez. That thing faded out hard. I didn't hit it clean like I would have liked to. It felt like I didn't get my feet under me well enough. So not the best throw, but I believe that's almost pin high. So I definitely got the distance out of it. Let's see. I'm going to try power grip in the I1 and see how that goes. It doesn't feel very comfortable, but I just have to be smooth with it. Just throw it at the basket, put on some hyzer. Not too much hyzer, but it looks like that's at least a little bit closer than the Anubis. So that's nice to know though. It's not super flippy, but it will flip for me. All right. The rangefinder puts me at 57 feet. So, like I said, this is on top of a hill, so there's no reason for me to run this at all. It's very easy for me to go super far past. So let's just go ahead and put this under the basket. Perfect. So the I1 is about 20-25 feet closer, so there's really no reason for me to lay this up. And plus, on the next two holes, the I1 is going to have a little bit more of a disadvantage. So I really need to get the strokes for this one while I can. Paid. Yes. Woo, let's go. All right, guys, so we're on hole 3. This is a par 3. I think it's like 250 feet. It's hard to tell because you can't see the basket from here, but it's on the other side of this mound, just to the left of this bush right here. Biggest thing you got to pay attention to is there's some stuff off to the left, which it's very easy to run into because it's easy to accidentally throw this nose up and have something fade out early. And if you get off early left, it's jail a lot of times, and it's really hard to get up and down for your par, depending on how close you are. But I think I'm going to take the I1's got the box, so I think I'm just going to take it. I'm going to fan grip it and just throw it flat and straight at the basket and just see what kind of movement I get out of it. Okay, that's a little too far left, but I don't know if it's in the stuff I was talking about. So I might even have a putt at it from over there. We just have to see if I push far enough to actually get in there. Let's see. For the Anubis, I'm just going to take it outright, put on a little bit of hyzer, and just try and have it carry left, and just try not to push it too far into that bush we were talking about. That's early. Get down. That might be right on top of the I1. So hopefully neither one of them's in that stuff off to the left. We'll see. Okay, so the I1 ended up in a okay spot. Like, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's pretty cut off. The Anubis is just 5 feet to the left, and I'm going to have a much tougher time with it than I am with the I1. But let's see. Fade. Okay, well, I just went dead straight. Oh gosh, sit. Okay. I thought I'd do that like 50 feet past the basket. All right, guys, so we're on hole 4. This is a par 3, about 230 to 250 feet. Baskets through either one of these gaps, tucked off to the left. Biggest thing you gotta do on the tee shot is pick which gap you're going for, and you just need something that you can get to go through the gap and then immediately start moving left. If you go through the left gap, you can kind of just throw something overstable and just have it finish. Whereas if you go through this right gap, you've got to have something that'll kind of flip up and push left. So that's the shot I'm going to go for with both of these. Just throw it. I'm going to throw both of them on a little bit of hyzer and just see if I can get them to just kind of either pop up the flat or just hold that angle and just slowly move left. God, hold it. Sit. Get down. Okay. I can work with that. Ooh. Trying too hard. Trying to throw that too hard. Just throw it smooth. All right. The Anubis. There it is. Still pulled it a little bit, but that's got, yeah. I don't know if that's far enough left to be inside the circle, but I think that'll be like a circle 2 putt. So yeah, they got a little warped after that tree hit. That's. Let's see, can I bend it back into shape a little bit? Yeah, yeah, that warp came right out. Sick. That's pretty cool. Ah, not high enough. Dang. That was close. That's what I wanted. Just need a little higher. Stay high. Ooh, almost. So the Anubis got a lot closer than I thought it was going to. I always think this basket's like 30 feet farther than it actually is. Let's go ahead and make this putt. Yes. All right, so for hole 5, this is a par 3, about 280 feet. This one's made up by 2 islands. The first one being this one off to the right, which is kind of acts as a layup zone and also as the drop zone if you were to go out of bounds and not cross in bounds. The island with the basket on it's just straight ahead of us. It's shaped like an upside down heart with the basket being towards the point at the bottom, I guess is the best way to describe it. But basically you want to try and land this short of the basket and not go long because the OB's probably 15 to 20 feet behind the basket. Probably not even that far at some points. So really just want to try and put both of these just on the island. Shouldn't be too difficult with these. Just really got to keep them straight the whole way and just pump them right at the basket. Ooh, that might be too low. I think that's fine. That's a little bit lower than I wanted it to be, but I think we're good. I don't know if we'll wait and see when we get up there. Then for the I1, I'm gonna try and power grip this one again and just throw it on a tiny bit of hyzer and see if I can just get it to pop up straight to flat. This one, I really just want it to kind of just do the same flat I did with that one, but way more height because this one doesn't want to glide as much. Oh, I yanked it so bad. Holy crap. That's too short. Yep, that's out of bounds. Holy crap. And I didn't even cross, so I got to play it from here again. I've got to keep in mind that even though this is a mid-range, it's not going to fly much farther than my putters because of how low profile it is. So I've got to treat it more like a throwing putter than I do a mid-range. There we go, much better. There we go. This is one of my favorite holes just for that reason. Like, this is a hole where somebody could birdie it and somebody else could take a huge number on it. Very good score separation hole. And even when you do put it on the island, you still got to make a putt on this giant basket. So there's a lot of things that can happen on this hole. All right, guys. So on hole 6, this is a par 4. I'm not too sure the distance on it. I think it's like 600 to 650 feet. But for your first shot, you really got to decide whether you want to try and go between these 2 buildings or just lay up to the gap because you got a double mando between them. And then you can see the basket over here down this tree line. Once you get through the double mandos, the biggest thing you got to pay attention to is the running track, which is out of bounds, which comes in pretty tight along the side of your second shot. So, a really tough hole. I say that I1 still has a little bit of a chance to come back, but we'll just have to see. Uh-oh, come back. Oh, see, still has a chance. I thought it was going to fade a little bit for me if I gave it that much height. Okay. I thought it's a little short of what I would have liked. that's where I would like to power grip that thing and actually be able to throw it hard, but I don't want to do the same thing I just did with the Anubis. But we'll see what we got. Get around it. Yes. That's really good. That's really, really good. I needed that. That'll work. That'll work. Yeah, so from here you can see what I'm talking about with the walking trail being really close to the basically bulges out in the middle of the fairway where you like to throw. But from where I am, I pretty much have to go over it if I want to try and get up close to the basket. So just gotta be real careful with the I-1. It shouldn't flip too much, but I'm more worried about not getting the actual distance I need out of it because of how slow it is. Ooh. Stay high. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's like 20 feet. It should be about the same for the Anubis. Just actually, I can go straight at the basket from here. I just throw it a little out to the right and see if I can just get it to fade in. This is a good time to this is a good time to test out its slow speed stability. Yeah, that's good. Pretty straight too. No, oh my gosh, I hate early releasing putts. Ugh. There we go. I'm pretty happy, honestly, with a bogey with mid ranges only, because normally I only throw fairway drivers on this hole. So to be able to get the distance out of that, I needed to get bogeys, and I have a par putt with the I-1 feels really good. All right, so for hole 7, this is a par 3. I'm not too sure the distance on this one. I think it's like in that 280, 250 range, but you can kind of see it straight ahead through this gap. Probably 25 feet into the tree line. I don't think I can really get either one of them there. So I'm just going to try and put both of them to the mouth of the gap and see if I can give myself like a edge of circle putt. Fade a little bit for me. Tiny bit. Oh, okay. I actually got up in there. I didn't think I could get that thing there. So I trusted the I-1 on a power grip, throwing that approach shot into the green. So I'm going to try it again. I just got to remember, just be smooth with it. I don't need to try and rip this hard. Just get on the right, good angle, be smooth. There we go. Oh, it faded for me. Not the same. If I could have hit the gap with either one of those, I actually might have been able to get a putt with them. That's surprising. So I've had trouble getting mid-range or fairway drivers up there before. Okay, so these are two of the better shots I've ever thrown on this hole because it's hard to get up here for an actual putt a lot of times. So for this to be the worst of the two shots, it's pretty wild for me. Let's go and make this putt. Early and low. There we go. All right, so for hole 8, this is a par 4. I think like right at 400 something feet. I don't know if you can really see where it goes in the woods, but basically we're going down this hill with there being a little cutout in the woods. If I lay it up right to the edge of the wood line, right in the perfect spot, I have like maybe 120 feet to the basket. So really just trying to see how far I can get down there, and just if I'm not in a good spot to try and go down the gap, I'm just going to try and lay up to that really good landing zone. Oh, wow. Okay. That might actually be in the gap. I think it's a little short of the gap, so I might be like tucked off in the woods a little bit, but I should be able to get an easy par from there. I didn't think I could actually get these that far. Ooh, yeah. Man, that thing's so straight. And I think I pushed that a little too long. So we'll see what we got, but probably just going to be a couple pars. So it turns out my depth perception was a little off. I thought the I-1 was long, but it's actually in a really good spot for me to try and get up and down for a birdie. But the Anubis is pretty much in jail in here, so I'm just going to have to pitch out and see how close I can get. Oof. A little too long, but I should have a jump approach from there. I got to be careful because if I go too far long, I can end up in jail in those woods behind the basket. I'm going to try and lay this up short of the little creek that runs along the front of the basket and just see if I can make that like 20 to 25 footer. Hit that tree. Okay, well, I think I'm in the ditch, so. Okay, so I didn't realize I was actually going to have a putt from over here. It's going to be pretty long. Got a little bit of a low ceiling, so I'm just going to have to try and spin this. I'm not very good at my straddle stance, but let's see what we got. Nope. It's a little bit better than honestly, I was expecting to just launch it up in the trees anyway, so the fact that I actually had the right height on it was pretty good. So yeah, the I-1 ended up in the ditch, but it's dry on one side, so even if it's marked as out of bounds, it's safe from here. But I'm going to play this casual, so I'm going to take it from behind the creek, right directly in line with it in the basket. Let's go ahead and make it. All right, guys, so we're on hole 9, final hole of the video. Before we get into it, I just want to mention they actually put in a new tee pad out here, which is really, really nice. This was one of the ones that needed it. It's elevated a little bit, probably like 3-4 inches off the ground, so you can't really run up off of it very comfortably, but it's wide enough to where you don't really need to. Yeah, so this one's par 3, 400 feet, just dead straight ahead, about a little uphill. Only thing to really pay attention to is the walking trail off to the right, which we've got a right to left wind, which is gonna either bring it into play a lot or not at all. Because if I can keep these on a hyzer angle, that wind will get under it and pull it left, which is what I'm gonna try and make both of them do. But if I get either one of them turned over at all, they're never gonna come back and they're just gonna stay out there in OB. So really got to be careful on this shot. Say hi. Oh, that I don't know what they call those things, but that thing might just save me. A hurdle. That might have been out of bounds because I threw it. I kind of turned a little bit that time. It hadn't really been turning that much, so probably just that wind. But all right, so I won. Be smooth, hit on a bunch of hyzer. Get over those rocks. Ooh, okay, I hit the rocks, but that should be fine. I can get up and down from there. So they both ended up going about the same distance, with the I-1 being a tiny bit shorter. But nice part about this hole is we've got a nice backstop. Still got to pay attention to that right to left wind, but try and fan grip it, throw it out to the right on a good amount of hyzer, and just try and get it to hold that angle and fade in. It's a little too far right, but okay. It's like a 25 footer. So just gonna try and throw the same shot I just threw with the I-1. Holy crap, I am pulling today. Oh my gosh. I don't know what that was. That was weird. Ugh. All right, let's make a big putt. Finish the video off with a bang. Oh, almost. Dang. go. All right, guys, that finished up around out here at North Greenville. I'm not too sure of the scores, but I believe the Anubis won. Can't say I'm too surprised, honestly, just because I'm very familiar with these discs, because it just feels exactly like the Mako 3, which has been my main just straight mid-range for a while now. So the fact that it's right there with it, it just feels almost exactly the same. And the only difference I would say in the flight is I'd say this is like a tick more stable at the end, but it feels like it has a, like if I mash it, it feels like it kind of wants to flip a little bit, like it just kind of turn like it, but it'll fade out at the end. It's weird. I don't know. It doesn't do it consistently for me, and it's not quite as comfortable for me as the Mako 3. So I wouldn't put this over the Mako 3, but if you're looking for just that like tick more stable Mako 3 or something like that, I would highly recommend these. And for the i1, I was pleasantly surprised with this disc. It's not as understable as I thought it might be, where I didn't know if it was going to be like the Tomahawk, where it's just something I can hyzer flip and have it turn and like just have it have no glide or have no fade to it at all. This is definitely a step up from that. I don't think it's a 0-0 disc. I would say it's like a -1-0, maybe something in that range, where it's just you're gonna get more flip out of it than you are fade. But I really recommend this one. If you have like smaller hands, this is really nice because like fan gripping it feels really comfortable. I can get behind the power grip. It's just something I would have to get used to. But in the hand, it does not feel as near as deep as the Anubis at all. So this is definitely, I would say, a really good beginner disc. Like just something that even if you're throwing it nose up, you're going to get a nice straight-ish flight out of it. Maybe get a little bit of fade at the end, but really nice disc. Highly recommend this for more beginner players. And the fact that this is in baseline and that it held up pretty well. It was like, I would be curious to see how stable the premium versions of these are, and if they have that same like grippy feel. And I was really surprised to see it actually, when it hit that tree and was warped, that I could actually bend it out of that shape. It still's got like a scuff where like it hit that tree, but like I wouldn't know where it was bent without seeing that scuff there. So really cool disc, really interesting. Highly recommend this if this sounds interesting to you. But okay, so for the final video, it's going to be the Anubis versus the Mako 3 versus the Dune. I'm planning on playing a full 18-hole course for that video and just breaking up into 2 different ones. And I'll explain all of it in that video, but I'm adding some other rules, and I'm probably going to do a giveaway in that video, so stay tuned for that. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you made this far in the video, y'all have a good one. Bye.